Good evening and welcome to the River Valley Sports Report. I'm your host, Joe Brooks, along with my co-host, Joey Powers, as we bring you the latest in the last couple of weeks' worth of high school sports from around the Connecticut River Valley. Also update you on where everyone is standing in the current playoffs, and we have a state champion to announce already. We also have some postseason awards that have shown up. And then Joey and I, of course, are going to get into Let's Catch Up and our random top 5 of the week, which I already can tell Joey's excited about because he came in with a list of 15 instead of 5. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the results from the last few weeks as the sports have been winding down. So we're gonna go through the sports now, Joey.
All right, so October 22nd, the Bellows Falls girls soccer team saw their season come to an end with a 6-0 loss to Woodstock in the first round of Division III VPA playoffs. Despite the exit in the playoffs, the girls ended the season with 11 victories, the most in the history of the program. For the season, senior goalkeeper Natalie Douglas recorded 5 shutouts. Sophomore Gracie Patterson netted 16 goals for the Terriers, while Abby Nystrom scored 9 to lead the way for the Terriers this season. Both will return next season as the Terriers look to continue the exciting momentum into 2026 and beyond.
On October 24th, the Bellows Falls Terriers field hockey team started their push to a championship with a 7-0 victory over Middlebury. Bellows Falls came in as the 1 seed and Middlebury as the 8 seed. Terriers and senior forward Veronica Moore proved too much for the Tigers. Moore netted 6 goals and assisted on the 7th, which was a goal from Avery Maxfield. Brooke Parker stopped the one-shot Middlebury had on goal for the shutout. The Terriers next play on Tuesday the 29th against Hartford for the chance to move on to the state finals.
October 24th, the Fall Mountain girls soccer team wrapped up the regular season with a 4-0 loss on the road to Guilford High. The loss puts the girls' record at 8-5-3 on the season, good for the 9th seed in the NHIAA Division III soccer playoffs and a trip to Trinity High School in Manchester on the 28th. The Fall Mountain boys soccer team finished up its regular season with a 2-0 loss at home to Guilford High School. The loss drops the Wildcats' season record to 8-4-4. Through a series of tiebreakers, the Wildcats finished with the 10th seed in the NHIAA Division III playoffs with a road game versus Berlin on the 29th.
On August 24th, in what might have been the game of the year in Vermont high school football, the Terriers football team saw their undefeated regular season come to an end with a 60-52 double overtime loss to Woodstock High School. Woodstock, the defending D3 state champions, overcame an 80-yard touchdown run by Jaden Bazin on the first play from scrimmage to amass a 38-16 halftime lead. Connor Perry caused a fumble on the opening kickoff of the second half, recovered by Jackson Fletcher. 2 plays later, Bazin in the end zone. The Terriers would fight back to eventually see the game tied at 46-46. Both teams would score on their first overtime possessions, but Woodstock would come up with a stop on Bellows Falls' second possession to secure the victory. Bazin once again led the way for the Terriers with 273 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Pat Connors added 123 yards on the ground and a touchdown, while the two teams combined for nearly 1,000 yards in the game. Bellows Falls will host the number 2 seed in the VPA Division II playoffs, Mill River. They played on Thursday the 30th, and it was on Fact TV.
October 24th, the Wildcats volleyball team wrapped up its regular season with a 3-0 loss on the road against Conval High School. The loss drops the Wildcats at 8-10 on the season and puts them as the 14th seed in the NHIAA Division II volleyball playoffs. The Cats will travel to New Hampshire coast to play Somersworth in the 3 versus 14 matchup.
On October 28th, the Fall Mountain Wildcat girls soccer team pulled off the upset victory in their first round playoff game. The Wildcats played Trinity High School to a 0-0 tie throughout regulation. The Wildcats would pull out the victory with a 4-1 advantage in penalty kicks. For the Cats, Aubrey Thomas, Sophia Grion, Susie Thibault, and Ari Colby would find the back of the net, while goalkeeper Violet Colburn turned away Trinity's shots. The victory means the Wildcats will move into the quarterfinals for the 3rd straight year. The Wildcats will make the short trip to longtime rival and undefeated top seed Stevens on Friday night the 31st.
October 28th, the Bellows Falls Terriers field hockey team advances to the state championship game with a 3-0 victory over Hartford High. Veronica Moore had 2 goals, while Avery Maxfield added the other goal, while Haven Hardy added 2 assists for the Terriers. The Terriers will look to bring home the title on Saturday, November 1st at UVM versus U32. The two teams met back on September 6th, with BF coming away with a 2-1 victory.
On October 29th, the Fall Mountain boys soccer team pulled off an upset in their first round matchup with Berlin. The Cats came in as the 10 seed and scored a 3-2 victory. The win marks the first playoff win for the boys soccer program in 13 years. Joseph Paulette and Lennon Dersher each had a goal and an assist for the Wildcats, while Zach Hearn rounded out the scoring. With the win, the Wildcats now move on to face Kearsarge High School, who's coming off an undefeated regular season.
On October 30th, the Bellows Falls Terriers football team faced Mill River High School in the first round of the VPA Division III football playoffs. It came away with a 46-0 victory to advance on a rain-soaked night at Hadley Field. The Terriers' offense was paced again by the two-headed monster of Jaden Bazin, 131 yards and a touchdown, and Pat Connors, 68 yards and 2 TDs. The Terriers' offensive and defensive lines played a tremendous game, creating holes in the run game and generating a nice pass rush and allowing no running lanes for the Minutemen. The Terriers also honored their 10 seniors prior to the game. They will advance to face Mount Abraham on Friday night, 11/7 at 7 p.m. at Hadley Field. A final note, seniors Cam Perrin, Pat Connors, and Jake Tostrup will all play in the North-South All-Star Game on November 23rd at Norwich University.
On October 30th, Fall Mountain's volley team fell on the road in their first round playoff matchup versus number 3 seed Somersworth 3-0. On the 31st, the Fall Mountain football team picked up their second win of the season in their finale on the road at Sanborn. The 16-6 victory for the Wildcats end their season at 2-6.
On November 1st, the Bellows Falls Terriers field hockey team takes home the state championship with a 4-1 win over U32 on the campus of UVM. For the Terriers, senior captain Veronica Moore netted 2 absolute lasers into the back of the net, while Haven Hardy and McKenna Applegate rounded out the scoring for the Terriers. In the playoffs, Veronica Moore totaled 10 goals in the 3 games, which more than any team scored over the course of the tournament. The title is the first for the Terriers since 2017. Congratulations, Coach Corson and your team for their hard work and dedication throughout the season. It's always great to hang a banner.
The Fall Mountain girls soccer team fell 3-0 to undefeated and top-seeded Stevens High School in Claremont on November 1st. The Fall Mountain boys soccer team also saw their season come to an end in the second round of the playoffs to an undefeated opponent, with the Wildcats falling at Kearsarge in New London, New Hampshire, with a final score of 2-1.
All Southern Vermont League team selections. First team, senior Natalie Douglas, junior Abby Nystrom, sophomore Gracie Patterson. Honorable mention, senior Gwen Guild and junior Grace Hayes. Now it's for girls soccer.
For the Bellows Falls Varsity football team, the North-South All-Star selections are Jake Tostrup, Cam Perry, and Pat Connors.
Bellows Falls Varsity football, all Southern Vermont League team.
This is field hockey, Joey. Sorry, I didn't correct
that. Sorry. This is field hockey. Senior Veronica Moore, senior Avery Dole, sophomore Haven Hardy, sophomore Avery Maxfield. Honorable mentions, Addie Bacon, Miley Illingworth, Brooke Parker.
And for the Bellows Falls Athletes of the Month, Veronica Moore, 2025 state champions in field hockey. She scored 25 goals in the season, including 10 in the playoffs. She's committed to play Division I field hockey at the University of New Haven next year. And for Pat Connors, also 1,200 yards rushing for the season, 14 total touchdowns. He's helped Bellows Falls secure the victory in the quarterfinals of the VPA Division III playoffs with 3 total touchdowns against Mill River. And he recently committed to Division II Framingham State to continue his baseball career. One more note on the results is that we will be covering the semifinals game this week for Bellows Falls versus Mount Abraham here on Fact TV. And with that, that's the end of results. So now, let's catch up. All right, Joey, let's catch up. One of our favorite segments on this show here. So recently, the World Series just ended. So let's talk a little bit about the recap of the World Series. Dodgers repeat, and as long as we're doing that as well, we're going to kind of debate the best hitters of our lifetime that you and I have that we've seen over the last 40 plus years that we've been watching baseball.
Absolutely.
So go ahead. What did you think of the World Series? Dodgers win again.
I was disappointed. I mean, I thought Toronto had him. Game 7. I think everybody thought they had him, and then the Dodgers are just turning into the Yankees of old. They're just finding ways to win late in games. Then they hit the game-winning homer in the top of the 11th. Yeah. I was like, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, and Yamamoto was unreal. One of those World Series historical performances.
Absolutely.
From a pitcher coming out of the bullpen. I mean, he ended up being, he won it for them for sure.
Yep.
You have 3 former MVPs on the team. You're going to get big hits, big plays.
Exactly, it's going to happen.
If guys are at the end of the lineup there. Toronto had it. They had a shot,
did.
man. Wow.
I was rooting for him.
Vladimir Guerrero had one of the great playoff runs I've seen in a long time. I don't remember exactly how his World Series went, but leading up to the World Series, he was
phenomenal.
Like he destroyed New York. I think he was over 600 in the series against the Yankees.
Yep.
And I think he had a home run in every game.
Yeah.
So it was a fun World Series. From a standpoint, it's a little disappointing to have the Dodgers win again because, it's always a little disappointing if you weren't a Yankees fan when the Yankees kept winning.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
But for a lot of guys now, it's a matter of, are you going to try to catch them? Or what's going to happen with the lockout perhaps coming after next season? Our team's going to spend big this season with the idea of
not being able to spend.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that is playing a lot into the free agency stuff.
Of course.
I love the conversation we're hearing. Like the conversation around Alex Bregman isn't necessarily that he opted out because he thinks he can get more average now.
Right.
It's because after the lockout, he doesn't want to be a 33-year-old free agent.
Exactly.
Looking for
because he doesn't know what he's going to get.
Right. So he would just rather get it now, even if it's less AAV, to have that security moving forward.
I mean, I think we are both in agreement that there is going to be a salary cap.
Or at least something. A salary floor or some sort of extra penalties for higher
like a
spending
floor and a ceiling, right?
Yeah, there's going to be
it's got to be something because
it's going to be a different landscape of financials for sure.
I mean, I think Juan Soto is a great baseball player, and I was disappointed that he left the Yankees. Right. But when you're getting $750 million for one person, something's got to get done.
And I mean. And this is the old man get off my lawn take on baseball. Maybe I don't understand metrics, but there's only like 3 guys getting 100 RBIs anymore. And there's not 143 RBI guys. There's not guys hitting 350 anymore.
Right.
And I know pitching's a little more challenging and it's bigger arms and stuff coming out of the dugout, but man, that's just missing in the game to have those big run producers. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's not what it was like when we were growing up. Like when we were watching baseball.
Like I look at a guy who hits 230, 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, and they're getting $35 million
exactly.
a year.
For hitting 230. I mean, look at what's his face from the Mariners.
The big dumper?
Raleigh,
yeah, big dumper.
His name is? Yeah,
he's a 230, 240 hitter.
He hit like 247.
Right, and great. I mean, he's a catcher, so I mean that was always a good number for a catcher. And,
I mean, he did smash 60 home runs.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bum,
for the bad with that a little bit, but I mean, there's guys that you look at their numbers, and they're 210 hitters,
right?
And with the 30 home runs,
and they're getting banked,
and they're getting huge money.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I don't see how this is a good player in comparison to the guys that we grew up watching that, like the 8th hitter in those Yankees lineups or even the Red Sox lineups in the early 2000s where I remember in 2004, Bill Miller won the batting title as the 9th hitter.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys, growing up, they were like 270, 280, and they're hitting 7th or 8th.
I mean, a lot of these guys would have been utility players back in the day because they're all or nothing or whatever. So it's a different landscape.
It is.
And I do think that something's going to change financially moving forward after next season.
It has to. I mean, it's just gotten out of control.
Not even that. It's just the teams that don't try, man. It's like
they should be forced to try.
I'm not mad about the Dodgers.
No, I'm not either. I'm a Yankees fan. I can't be mad.
You want to go spend money? Cool.
Yeah.
I wish everyone would. But you can't have like Tampa Bay having a $17 million.
Yeah, the bottom dwellers, they need to try.
Like you can't have Pittsburgh talking about trading Paul Skeens with 3 years of money, 3 years of time left because they know they can't sign him. Like,
and how old is he?
How can
like 24?
How can you even be considering?
Exactly. He's your franchise player.
Like, how can you do this?
Yeah, it's stupid.
So that part has to change.
But the Marlins used to do that all the time too, remember?
Right.
They would win a World Series and, okay, we can't afford to pay these guys, so we're going to get rid of all of them.
I do remember because that's the same ownership group that's been doing it to Boston for the last bunch of years.
Exactly.
Oh, we won in 2004, let's not try again. We won in 2018, we're not going to try
Let's not do it again. Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to sell all these pieces and we're going to rebuild. It's
it's frustrating.
Time. It's unbelievably frustrating.
Yeah.
It's great when it works, and it's cool you build up to it. But man, there's a lot of down years that I'm not used to seeing.
Yeah, and you're just not interested in. It's like, why bother?
Right.
It's like, I know we're not going anywhere, so.
Right. So, anyways, good talk on the World Series. Not the best World Series. Kind of not the
At
most
least it went
surprising.
7, though. I mean, I'm glad it went 7.
Yeah. Great players in it. Bo Bichette was good, hurt, good pitching by Toronto. They did everything they could. They were the better team. They just didn't win.
Exactly. They were the better. They definitely were the better team.
They made all the plays defensively. They had good pitching. Maybe not as good at pitching as the Dodgers, but it
didn't work out. It just
no, not for them. No Joe Carter moment anyway.
No.
Was kind of hoping for one.
That was a great moment. I remember watching that live.
It was. So anyways, that kind of transitions us into the next part of this Let's Catch Up, let's talk about the best hitters that we've seen through our lifetime. You know, we've talked about the game's been changing quite a bit.
Right.
Probably even like 2 or 3 different times over, like in the 80s when we were first starting watching baseball, you know, it wasn't the steroid era.
Right.
Then we had the steroid era, and now we kind of have the metrics era.
Right.
Where it all is like, launch angle and exit velocity instead of, this guy hit 330.
Yeah.
Like, so
I call it the overthinking era.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's rough.
It is.
Sometimes. Like, I see this as a baseball guy that's not the right play, but you're doing it because the computer says
Yeah, because the computer's telling you to do that.
So anyways, those
happened
aren't
to human
hitters.
instinct?
Right, those aren't hitters.
No.
So anyways, going back to this, I want to go back to a couple guys from basically when we were in high school, maybe a little later, that I've always looked and said were some of the greatest hitters of our generation, and that's Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds are 2 of my favorite guys to go back and watch.
Oh, yeah.
Manny Ramirez, maybe my favorite right-handed hitter of all of those guys, but steroids aside, with Barry Bonds, before he left Pittsburgh, was probably a Hall of Fame player.
Absolutely.
With with just the athleticism and the bat he had. He was still a 30
He had
home run
3
guy.
league MVPs before he ever got big.
Right.
You know,
Still
the talent was there.
home run guy. I still can't believe he did not throw out Sid Bream from deep shortstop.
I know. What a game that was.
Yeah.
I watched that live, too. That was a great game. I hated the Braves,
But then, Ken Griffey Jr., just classics, one of the classic swings of all time.
The best swing I've ever seen.
So just watching him was always just fun, even if he didn't.
It was just effortless.
Right.
You know?
And Manny Ramirez, I've never seen the ball fly off a right-hand bat like that. So those are the 3 guys that I kind of look back at and say, boy, these might be the best ones that I've seen. And a little homerism with Manny, because I did get to watch him for a good decade.
Well, I hate Manny Ramirez. I've never liked him. But, I mean, combined power and average.
Yeah.
He's one of the best of all time, whether he took steroids or not. It doesn't. Same with Barry Bonds.
I mean, the year before he left Cleveland, he batted 7th and hit 43 home runs, drove in 160 runs.
Exactly. Was that with Albert Bell on the team
Albert
too?
Bell, Jim Thome, Carlos Baer,
exactly. That team was loaded. Yeah, that team was loaded.
He drove in 160 runs.
So, when I think classic hitter, I think growing up, Tony Gwynn.
Yep.
I thought Tony Gwynn was just I think his career average was 338.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. He flirted with 400. The strike shortened year. I think he ended up hitting 394.
Yep.
And he could run the bases for a short, fat guy. He could run the bases pretty good.
He was a little chubby.
But I mean, he was a Gold Glove winner.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as hitting, like really growing up for me, it was him and Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
Wade Boggs, I remember 8 years in a row he had 200 hits, and that was something back then because
it was something. You're absolutely right.
You're not going to see that a lot nowadays.
Right. No, it was a goal. It was an achievement back then.
8 years in a row with 200 hits.
Yeah.
You know, so
and he won a bunch of batting titles in that same time frame.
And I was never a Red Sox fan, but I always respected Wade Boggs because he was there. He was a great third baseman.
You're still only saying that because he went to the Yankees.
He did.
Afterwards.
He did go to the Yankees. He didn't won a World Series with the Yankees, which he never did in Boston, by the way.
You would never say a nice word about Wade Boggs had
Probably
he not gone to New York.
I believe he got his 3,000th hit as a Yankee as well.
I thought it was Tampa Bay.
It might have been
Tampa Bay. Because he technically went into the Hall of Fame as a Tampa Bay Devil Ray.
Did he really?
Yes.
Why?
They paid him.
Oh. I was going to say, he was a Red Sox.
He played his last year there, and they needed someone to go in, so he's technically the first ever Tampa Bay Devil Ray.
You know, a good side note on that, he was inducted in the Hall of Fame as the same year as my favorite player of all time, Ryan Sandberg. Because they were both inducted.
Sandberg was a great hitter too. He was. You knew more about him than me. Was he a batting champion level hitter?
He was a 1984 league MVP, 1990 home run champion.
So was he like a 270, 280 type of hitter?
I think he ended up. If he never came back, he would have flirted. He would have been close to 300.
Okay, so he was right around a 300.
But then when he came back, his last 2 years, he was like 260, 260. So it dropped him to like 280.
So he was a better than above average.
Oh, absolutely,
average guy.
absolutely,
Okay.
and he was a good power hitter for a second baseman.
Yeah, I knew he was a power hitter. I remember one season, I think he had 44 home runs.
I think 40 in 1990.
And he won an MVP that year for the Cubbies.
He won it in 8.
Wasn't Dawson on the team that year too?
He won the MVP in 84 before Dawson was on the team.
Okay.
In 90, he won the home run crown when Andre Dawson was on the team.
Okay.
And he won 9 straight Gold Gloves.
Dawson was another good hitter, but he was a little before when we were watching baseball.
Yeah.
His prime years.
His prime years with the Expos.
A little before we were really watching
like Gary Carter and him on the Expos. He was really good.
Mentioning the Expos, that's another hitter to talk about. Vladimir
Guerrero.
The original one. Wow. Mm-hmm. And Larry Walker. Two really good hitters that came out of Montreal. Mm-hmm. Vladimir Guerrero Sr. could hit anything. Like, I remember seeing highlights of him hitting the ball off the plate. It's basically bouncing off home plate.
He swung, and
he's hitting a home run.
The other thing too is he swung at everything.
Yes.
That guy was not patient.
Yes.
He literally swung at everything.
He still hit 330.
He did.
So I don't get it. I don't understand how nobody's hitting 330.
I know
anymore.
we're talking about hitting, but do you remember when he threw that guy out from the wall to home plate?
Yeah.
What an arm.
No,
that's insane.
So, a short story about Vladimir Guerrero. My friend Dan Smith and I went to a series up in Montreal to watch the Expos play the Red Sox because it was unbelievably cheap. We went for the whole weekend. It was like $9 a game.
Yeah,
we saw all 3 games. So we sat right in right field. We were first row, right field bleachers. There was a ground ball single to Vladimir Guerrero. Guy going from first to third. I can't remember who it was on the Red Sox. Guerrero picks up the ball, and all I see is his arm move. That's it. And the third baseman's tagging the guy out. Like, Dan and I are looking at it like, what happened? And the ball was in third baseman's glove, like as soon as his arm moved. It was unbelievable.
Such a laser of an arm.
Dude was unbelievable. Worst hitter I ever saw, same game, Rich Garces got in a bat for the Red Sox. Good old El Guapo.
Oh, my God.
Bunted into a double play.
He bunted into a double play?
One of the poorest managerial decisions ever made. I might have been Tito Francona. I can't remember the year. But yeah, for whatever reason, because they still had the pitchers hitting in the National League at that time. So Hideo Nomo had started. They took him out because he hit around early or something. So Garces was in the game early, so he came up to hit. And there's a man on first. And
pinch hitting?
He bunted right back to the pitcher. And I've never seen a man more out at first base on a double play.
I was going to say, how fast did he go down the line?
He didn't even
try.
I don't even think he ran. I think he took a few steps and just kind of stopped.
I haven't heard El Guapo in a long time.
But yeah, it's a side note, worst hitter I ever saw in a game. Good relief pitcher, terrible hitter. All right, so now we're going to move on to our random top 5. All right, and welcome back. Now we're going to talk about our random top 5. This week, we're going to talk about something I know Joey's excited about as he does another show on movies. We're going to talk about our top 5 movies of all sports of all time. So, Joey, I'm going to let you go first because you came in here with a notebook that's almost full. I told you had to cut it down, but you could give 2 honorable mentions. You've told me you're going to talk about more of them anyways. You've done pretty good about not mentioning more movies. So why don't you go ahead and give me your top 5 and a couple of honorable mentions that you fought with yourself to leave off.
All right, so I'm just going to name 5 that I wouldn't necessarily say they're my top 5, but they're 5 of my favorite of all time. Miracle.
Yes.
With Kurt Russell. That's an excellent movie based on a true story about the 1980 Olympics.
Yes.
Warrior. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No.
It's about mixed martial arts. It's Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton are brothers.
Newer movie?
2012.
Okay.
It gets an 8.0 on IMDb. It's really highly rated.
Interesting.
So they're basically brothers that haven't talked or seen each other in a long time. Okay. And there's a huge mixed double M, whatever it's called, mixed martial arts tournament. It's a 16 team down to 1, and the winner gets all the money.
Yep.
And the brothers are they really have not talked in a long time. And Nick Nolte plays their father, who ends up coaching Tom Hardy. And Frank Grillo plays one of Joel Edgerton's friends, who ends up coaching him, and then end up going in on opposite sides of the bracket. And then you can see where it goes from there. But it's a really good movie. It's excellent. You should check it out.
I'm on now.
My favorite baseball movie we've talked about before, 8 Men Out.
Yeah.
About the Black Sox.
1918 or
1914? I think it's 1919.
1919.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a really good movie. You've seen that, right?
Yes.
One that I just thought of that I don't know if you've seen it or not. Heaven Can Wait.
No.
With
I remember
Warren Beatty.
I remember seeing or hearing about it or seeing even the cover of it on something, but no, I haven't seen it.
You should check it out. It's a football movie. It's a really good movie. He's jogging and he goes into a tunnel. He gets hit by a car and he's killed. But he wasn't supposed to die. The angel grabbed him because he didn't want him to die a horrible death. And so basically what they do is, God's like, you can't. You got to find another body.
Yeah.
And so he gives him a body to this billionaire, and he puts himself in shape and ends up being a quarterback of the Rams. It's a really good movie, And another movie, Hoosiers.
Yeah, Hoosiers, great movie.
Hoosiers is classic.
Hackman, great movie.
Yeah, absolutely classic basketball movie.
Oh, it makes me think of another movie I forgot about.
I know. Hoosiers I forgot about, and I just added it right when I got here. I was like, I love Hoosiers. It's one of my favorites. And a couple of honorable mentions. I would just say Rudy was a really good movie.
Yeah.
And a movie that has a lot of classic lines in it, A League of Their Own.
Yeah. And the one that just came to my mind when you talked about that was Blue Chips.
Yep. I actually own that. I like that movie a lot, too.
I enjoyed that movie a lot
Yep,
with
I did
Anthony
too.
Hardaway, Shaq,
Nick Nolte's the coach.
Nolte's the coach. I feel like there was some other basketball player in it
JT
also.
Walsh was in it. He was
Yeah.
the booster.
Anyways, great movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
The League of Their Own just missed my cut. Great movie. I love Tom Hanks in it. Classic line. There's no crying in baseball.
Absolutely.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Good list. I haven't seen Warrior, or Heaven Can Wait, so I'll have to see those before I can be like, oh, I know all of these. But
Right.
yeah, that's interesting because I haven't seen some of those, so that's cool. So I'm going to start off with my first honorable mention that didn't quite make my list. Is a movie that was just in the era it came out was meant for that era, and that's the movie that was Any Given Sunday.
Oh,
Cameron Diaz,
that's on my
Jamie
list.
Foxx.
That was a really good movie.
If it had come out at a different time, it may not have worked.
Right, but it was perfect time.
In the time era that it came out in, it fit. And it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself cheering for Jamie Foxx, which I don't always do in
I don't
movies
either.
with Jamie Foxx. Great movie. So that just missed my list. I'm going to start off with my fifth movie. Personal favorite due to the fact that I golf. I like Kevin Costner. I like Cheech Marin. I like Rene Russo. So Tin Cup was a
good movie.
really fun movie for me. We still drop lines like that on the golf course. Like if you throw too many in the woods, you're pulling you're pulling a Roy McIlroy or stuff like that. And, so I really enjoyed that movie. I don't know why it's has been so, but I'll watch it 2-3 times a year.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
Not sit to finish, but I'll put it on while I'm doing things. So it's in the background because there's a lot of stops. Times where I'll stop and be like, oh, I like this part. I got to watch it. Number 4. This was a fun movie from when I was a kid. One of my favorite actors from when I was younger, Woody Harrelson. Wesley Snipes was in this as well. Also one of my favorite actors in a few other movies. White Men Can't Jump. Unbelievably fun movie.
Great movie.
Rosie Perez underrated in this movie, trying to get on Jeopardy. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, it's a fun playground basketball. There's a little friendship story, there's a little drama, there's a little love interest, all this blah, 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 blah. But it's about sports. It's about playing pickup basketball. There's not a lot of things around pickup basketball.
No,
like that.
definitely not.
And this was just fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And my third movie is one that might actually be on some list as a famous movie or a top movie of all time, but I liked Rocky.
Rocky was on my list.
Rocky was one of my favorite movies
Absolutely.
of all time. Not a big Stallone fan in a lot of other of his movies.
Right.
But Rocky was great.
He nails Rocky, though.
Yeah.
He nails that character.
Yeah, and I won't say I enjoyed all of the Rocky movies because they
Some of them were pretty bad.
They made a couple too many Rocky movies in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the first 2 were really good.
Yep.
And number 1 was just one of my favorites. Another one, if it's on the TV when I'm walking through, I'll stop and watch some of it.
Yep, me too.
Number 2, because it was my favorite baseball movie, falls on this list. It's Major League. Just absolute love this movie.
Such a fun movie.
I could talk about Major League forever. Yeah. I've watched it I don't know how many times.
I've watched it a lot, yeah.
I drop lines from it all the time. I don't know. We were talking about it the other weekend with Corbin Burnson arguing with his manager about doing calisthenics.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the golf course. Absolutely hilarious. I told Howard I needed to buy some white wall tires. So anyways, love Major League. Number 1, Miracle. The story, it's kind of like one of my favorite movies of all time is Braveheart because of the story. The story is real. It's, the emotions are real.
Absolutely.
In fact, you could even go to the arena and see where it happened and stuff. So, I mean, it's cool. I've only seen it one time. I've meant to watch it more, but I remember watching it and being like, wow, that was really good. Of course, I was only 5 at the time. It was 84. So
it was 80.
It was 80.
80.
So it was like
I wasn't even born.
I was thinking 84, but it was 80. So I was 1 year old. Yeah. So like I didn't live this. I didn't even hear about it really till probably in my teenage years.
Me neither.
And then there's certainly at that time we didn't have the internet, so there wasn't
exactly.
really exposure to it. Like now, if they come back and tell a real story, you've been exposed to things.
Absolutely.
So that was different back then. So I really enjoyed that. So anyways, good random top 5, Joey.
Absolutely.
So now it's time for our random Athlete of the Week. All right, so Joey, we haven't had anyone stump anyone yet, so go ahead. What do you got this week?
I think this is a good one.
All right.
I'm not sure, but So this player was recruited to play defensive back in college by Miami, Notre Dame, and Florida State. He was drafted in 1990 in the 6th round of the MLB draft by the Seattle Mariners. Became a starter for Houston in 1995, keeping his ERA under 4 every year. 1999 was his best year, going 22-4 with a 2.90 ERA. Won first of 5 Silver Slugger awards and narrowly finished second to Randy Johnson in Cy Young voting.
It's Mike Hampton.
Yes, you got it.
Oh,
Nice.
it's Mike Hampton.
Nice.
It was the offensive stats for the pitcher.
Yeah.
He definitely lived in Colorado and loved it.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
You got it, dude.
Oh, man, I was stumped.
I thought I had
until,
you. I thought I had you.
Until the pitcher hitting stats.
Yep.
Because not many guys could hit
Because
back then.
I honestly, if you did this, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Just the hitting stats. The 22-4, I was trying to figure out who was that good back then. But as soon as you drop that pitcher hitting, I'm like, oh, that's Mike Hampton. He hit bombs for Colorado.
Well, there were a couple other things that I did want to add.
Okay.
I know you already got it, but
Yeah.
Colorado signed him to a 9-year, $121 million contract in December of 2000.
It's probably the biggest of the time.
It was the highest of all time, and then A-Rod surpassed it
Yeah.
when he signed with Texas.
Yeah, he was what was he, with the Mets before the Rockies?
Yeah, he won the NLCS MVP in 2000.
Yep. You're right.
And in 2003, won 14 games, won the Gold Glove in 2003. This is a great statistic because Greg Maddux is one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
He won it in 2003. He's the only pitcher in the National League from 1990 to 2008 that won a Gold Glove other than Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux won it 17 of the other 18 years.
So was Greg Maddux hurt that year or something?
I don't know, but they were on the same team because he was on the Braves. You know?
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Did Greg Maddux get hurt?
Isn't that insane, though?
That's pretty wild.
It is.
Yeah, Greg Maddux was unreal.
He was. His glove. I mean, everything about him. He was just a great pitcher, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he could hit, too. You know, he was a pretty decent hitter.
Yeah, he could.
He wasn't Mike Hampton, but he was a pretty decent.
Well, maybe if he'd played in Colorado, but he might not have been as good a pitcher if he played in Colorado also.
Exactly.
But anyways, all right. So that was good, Joey. You almost.
I thought I was
we were right
gonna
down
get
to
you.
the end on that one. All right. So now we're going to move into our final thoughts. And for this, Joey, why don't you start us off?
Well, Joe kind of mentioned to me before the show started that I need to stop talking about Miami because the last time I did, Miami was favored to win the college football championship, and since then they went from the favorite to not even sniffing the playoffs. So no more Miami talk. But I am going to bring up briefly that college basketball season started. Duke did play the other night. Carlos Boozer's kid did a good job. He got talked to by John Shire, not talked to, but more challenged by John Shire. In the second half, he really lit it up defensively on the boards, and he put up some points. And Duke pulled away to a 15-point win. So the season started off good for them. I mean, Texas isn't a bum. You know, they're not bums. Right. They're a decent program.
Right.
So we won by 15 points. So, you know, Duke's number 6, and hopefully it's a better season than last year. Last year was a Final Four run. So
don't go predicting anything.
No. I learned my lesson.
Predictions don't seem to work
nope,
out well.
I learned my lesson. So
my final thoughts is also going to be on college basketball. It's just a little frustrating watching college basketball these days. With the one and done, with the NIL, you get a different team every year, and boy, does it make it hard to actually have a rooting interest. That was the best part of it when I was younger. As you know, occasionally you had the guy like for Duke, Shane Battier, who started off his first couple of years as a high recruit, doesn't do great, and then suddenly builds into this Player of the Year candidate as a senior. I miss that part of college basketball, the kind of tradition aspect of it. It's still a great game. I still love the tournament, but it's hard to follow your team every year when it's a different team.
Every year, you're right.
Every year. Other than that, still a great game. Still love the tournament. Still love the arguments about who's better, who's the great coaches. But boy, that's frustrating to have to just find out who the starting 5 is and repeat every year. So anyways, that's it for me on my final thoughts. Maybe that'll change. I doubt it. Money means too much. But anyways, we will we'll rejoin you in a couple of weeks here. We'll have a couple of updates on the Bellows Falls Varsity football team and how their pursuit of their state championship goes. They play the semifinals this weekend versus Mount Abraham on Friday night at 7 o'clock. We'll have the game here on Fact TV. And then we have basketball coming up in the near future. We got to get Joey the schedule, find out when him and I will be doing some games together, as well as we'll try to get a hold of some of these coaches and see what they've got for the upcoming season.
Absolutely.
So on that note, Joe Brooks for Joey Powers. Have a great night.
Thanks.